The controversy over the National Football League's two-game suspension of Baltimore Ravens running back Ray Rice is sparking a national debate. Rice pled not guilty to aggravated assault in the third degree after a physical altercation with his then-fiancee left her unconscious. You, of course, will remember that video where he dragged her out of the elevator unconscious. Well, Arise News sports contributor Andrew Rosario joins us to talk about this ruling and this issue in general. Hey, Andrew, it's good to see you.
Good to see you as well.
First of all, it's just absolutely outrageous. It's outrageous that it happened.
Right.
I personally think it's outrageous that Janae married him anyway, but she did.
Right.
And then many, of course, are up in arms with just this two-game suspension. What's the justification for such a light penalty?
Apparently, they met with the commissioner afterwards, both Janae and Ray Rice, and they gave their side of the story in terms of what happened and what led him to physically striking her to the point where she was unconscious. Everyone's seen the video, the door's open, she falls flat on her face, and then he literally picks her up and drags her, to their room or whatever. So based on that, based on both of their testimony to the commissioner, he felt that the ruling was justified.
It really is hard in some ways to sustain outrage just against Ray Rice when you know that Janae, now Rice, because she went on to marry him, went before the NFL commission, this panel that was put together to have a hearing on this, and asked for leniency for Ray, saying that it would harm his career.
Yeah, well, in a lot of domestic abuse cases, and I'm sure you're aware of, a lot of the times the women will come to the defense of the man, regardless of what the outcome of the situation was. And that's apparently what happened here.
Andrew, let me ask you this. Why is there not some sort of uniform code, if you will, on what penalties are for certain types of behaviors? Why this subjectivity?
Well, they do have some uniformity in terms of if you're caught with drugs, if you're caught DWI, DUI. For instance, if you get caught using illegal drugs, it's an automatic 4-game suspension. DWI, DUI, depending on the circumstances, could be anywhere from 2 games to 6 games. Ben Roethlisberger was suspended for 6 games for allegedly sexually assaulting a woman. He appealed it. They cut the suspension down to 4 games. So it's up to the commissioner. He's been, since he's taken over from Paul Tagliabue, he's been the judge, jury, and executioner for the NFL across the board. Not only players, but management, owners. You remember the incident with the New Orleans Saints, the Bounty Gate, where they found out that these players were being paid by their coaching staff to injure opposing players. And so he came down hard on the whole organization. They appealed. He assigned Paul Tagliabue, the previous commissioner, to arbitrate the case. And in a lot of those cases, he reduced the sentences of those players, the coaches, and the staff of that team.
And you bring up a subject I want to talk to you about, and how much of this falls squarely on the shoulders of Roger Goodell. I mean, he certainly has, as you just mentioned, a checkered history in the decisions he's made about things that could be considered bad press for the NFL.
Right. Well, I think what you're going to see that comes out of this is that they're going to get together, the NFL and the Players Association, and they're going to try to come up with some kind of arbitrary arbitration panel to overlook all of his rulings to determine if they felt that the ruling was correct. Unfortunately, it's too late. Ray Rice is not going to appeal. He's going to serve his suspension. But the other thing that really sticks out in my mind is the fact that the fine that they levied against him was based on his 2013 salary of $1 million. He's making $4 million this year. So he saved over $250,000 by getting penalized from the 2013 contract as compared to the 2014 contract.
This doesn't seem to make sense to me on so many levels. Will this hurt the NFL at all? I know a lot of women's groups are just outraged about this. People are talking about it, but this is a big, very successful organization.
They make billions of dollars annually. It's the most popular sport right now in America. The black eye will heal, and the games will go on, and the fans will root. Now, remember that of the fan base is growing among females. It's gone from 33% to 40% of the fans are now females, not just going to the games, but going to other events. They actually have schools in the off seasons that's being taught by ex-players and NFL broadcasters specifically for women so they can understand the game better.
Well, we're going to see if it affects that fan base there, and if nothing else, it raised a very important conversation about domestic abuse.
Exactly.
All right, Andrew Rosario, it's always a pleasure. Thank you,
Thank you, Debbie.